personal injury lawyers, car accident attorneys, ambulance chasers. There's so many names. Can they help? Well, let me tell you a story. There's a woman who is wheeled into a personal injury attorney's office in the state of Florida. She's wheeled in by a family member. She had been in the hospital for a couple of weeks, and it turns out that she was involved in a car accident. She had the basic insurance, right? She had a $10,000 bodily injury policy, the basic PIP, and no uninsured motorist coverage. She's in an accident with another person. Based on the facts, sounds like to the personal injury attorney that there's probably negligence on the other person. So they sign this woman up. She'd already done a surgery while she was in the hospital. She was going through physical therapy for her leg. And just to tell you a little bit about the injuries, she had a couple breaks in her leg, not just one, but multiple breaks. Her big toe on her foot was amputated, so she lost her big toe. And she was going through physical therapy, right? You can imagine, broken bones, some disfigurement, not able to work while she's going through physical therapy based on what she did. So the attorney takes the case, files in, gets a police report, goes, yeah, it looks like something, sends a request for insurance coverage to the other party. Turns out that person that caused the negligence, let's say Mrs. Smith, right? Mrs. Smith has a basic policy. It's $50,000 bodily injury, $5,100, but the attorney does a little bit of investigation. Says, you know what? Let me get a little bit of information. So they get their investigator and they do a little bit of background. And when they do the background, they realize that the person had only had a driver's license in the state of Florida for a couple of years. They had come from another state and moved, but the driver's license record showed one DUI in the state of Florida, a couple speeding tickets, that kind of thing. They did a little bit of research and found out about the other state, and there were a couple of tickets, but something seemed off with the dates. So they dug a little deeper, and when they dug a little deeper, they realized that this woman, right, the person who caused the accident, had changed their name while they were in that other state. And when they did research on that, they realized that woman, the same woman, had 2 prior DUIs, a reckless driving with a suspended license. And in fact, they should have had, because of the timeline of when the DUIs were, they should have had either a 10-year revocation, losing of the driver's license, or a permanent revocation. Either way, this person shouldn't have been driving. So they dig into it a little bit more. And they realized that the woman was working. She made a comment that the accident was caused, and I don't know, someone asked her, well, where were you heading to? It was just kind of a generic question. I was just dropping off a package. Well, some investigation led to, she was dropping off a package for work. So she was actually working at the time, and the company that she was working for was a large company that had offices in Florida, that had offices in the other state, and they, sorry, just coming up the intersections, and that she was working for the company. She was in a personal car, wasn't a company car, but she was working because she's an agent, she's family, mostly because she's an agent. We were able to dig into the insurance coverage there, and then the attorney sent a letter to that company, and it turned out that they had a very large policy, approximately $5 million. And then the attorney said, this stuff didn't come up on DMV. Something's wrong. Florida missed something. This other state missed something. So they reached out, and there's a lot of rules when you're suing the state, folks. Like Florida, there's a $200,000 minimum. In the other state, not $200,000 max. And ultimately, the attorney gathered all of this information and sent the demand to all the insurance companies. Now, obviously, it turned out to be a hell of a lot more than $50,000. This attorney took the time, went through the steps, realized that something looked odd about the driving record, that something seemed odd, right? And then they were able to backtrack and figure it out before they even filed the lawsuit. Because now they knew the insurance caps. Now they read on prior cases. They knew that her surgeries were finished, that she was going to recuperate, but she's missing a toe. She's got broken bones. She was in the hospital for weeks. She's doing rehabilitation for months. Requested a demand that didn't ask for the policy limits all the way through, but asked each $50,000 from the one, $200,000 from Florida, $200,000 from the other state, and the client, the one that was injured negligently, $3.5 million. $3.5 million and some change, like 50,000. So, do you think that the ambulance chaser, the personal injury attorney, the investigator, the legal eagle, do you think that they can help? I think we can. I'm attorney Roger P Foley. Have a great day. Share the story.